Alright, what am I now? What are we talking about?
The Sega games.
Yeah, Sega Forever. Hopefully not forever.
Forever.
Alright, you had a Sega Genesis when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, I had a Sega. The only games that I really remember though were most of the Disney ones, like Lion King, Toy Story, Aladdin. I don't know why the fuck I had those games.
Those were quality games, though. Yeah. I've heard good things. I played the Super Nintendo versions.
Yeah. I had Streets of Rage.
Is that one on there?
Not yet.
Okay, so what games are on Sega Forever so far?
Let's see, we got Phantasy Star 2.
The sequel to Phantasy Star.
Obviously. Kid Chameleon. Comic Zone. And Crazy Taxi. And there's a shitload of Sonic games.
Like all the Sonics? Well, which ones? Which Sonic
1,
games?
Sonic CD.
That's a good game.
I don't know why specifically Sonic CD was.
Well, it was for the Sega CD. Which attached to the Sega Genesis?
It was that significant that...
Well, it was a good game.
Right.
I guess one you wouldn't expect to be released. Like, you'd expect them to do the first three first, right?
Yeah.
And Knuckles.
I haven't seen any games with Knuckles yet, but... I guess the official, like, Sonic mobile game is Sonic Dash.
Oh, that's the one that's like a running game?
Yeah. Technically, all Sonic is a running game.
I've heard since Sega Forever launched that like the games weren't running that well. How has your phone handled it?
Pretty good, and just playing Phantasy Star and like it's regular RPG. You just walk around and stuff.
What about because you were playing Comic Zone, right?
Comic Zone was pretty sick. I liked it. I never played it on the Sega. It's like a side scroller within a comic book. Traverse through the panels. I couldn't tell what the bad guys were. Like, is he like a robot or... there's all kinds of crazy creatures in there. Oh, I forgot to mention Altered Beast.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know why they're always throwing Altered Beast at us like we like it.
I don't know.
Remember Altered Beast? Yes, I remember it wasn't good. Well, it's back. Go away.
Play it.
But yeah, Altered Beast, I guess Sonic you would expect. These games have also, all of the games you mentioned were also on, that little Sega thing that they sell around Christmas time? That it's either like a Sega one or an Atari thing you could plug in through the AV outlets on your TV. Oh,
it's just like the controller that connects to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sega is just always trying to resell the same plain old classics they've had. Remember these Sega games? Yes, you keep trying to sell them to me.
Because they're classics.
Not that classic.
Classic in the sense that they were something at one time.
Yeah. Like they were fairly popular for a moment. Because some of them, it feels like, is Comic Zone a classic? It's a good game, yes. But it's not like one a lot of people played or remember fondly.
Yeah. I never played it. So.
Maybe they'll have more hidden gem games like that. That'll be interesting. Because I'm wondering how long the Sega... Because they're saying Sega Forever, but they have a very finite... Yeah. List of games I would consider like must buy again classics. Hopefully they do stuff from the Sega Saturn and from they have Crazy Taxi already.
Yeah.
So that means they could do Dreamcast games and that'll be awesome too. I still think Choo Choo Rocket would be like the perfect phone game, right?
I'm not familiar with Choo Choo Rocket.
It's a kind of like a 4-player battle game where you have to you have like a little trail of mice and you kind of just swipe left, right, up or down for what direction you want the mice to go in to like avoid obstacles. like it's top-down perspective, like an old Zelda game or something. And you're just like kind of watching them move around the grid, and you have to help them avoid like cats and stuff.
Okay.
So that all the mice can get to a rocket. That's why it's called Choo Choo Rocket. And then if the rocket takes off, that's how you win each stage. But anyway, it seems like a really good phone game because you just up, down, left, and right, you know, just swipe. It would be super easy. And then 4 people multiplayer sells itself.
Play with friends.
Yeah. And then even if you have a dual touch screen, maybe you could like, or like a multi-touch screen, maybe you could both play on the same phone. Your phone's big enough for 2 thumbs to block everything.
Shit, yeah. Phones nowadays.
Anyway, is there anything else to say about Sega Forever?
I kind of like how they set it up with the games. Like, the controls is like there's the D-pad and then there's the A, B, C button. Mm-hmm. Just like on the screen, and you just play like that.
So you haven't had any trouble getting used to the controls?
It's a little weird because the buttons seem like they're kind of close together. So like, and it's weird not to have like the tactile feel of like the D-pad where like
you want to know you press the button, right?
Yeah. If I'm not looking at it, I'm just like dragging my thumb across the screen. I'm like, other than that, it seems pretty cool.
Let's see. Oh, I got the Nintendo Switch now. We haven't really talked about the Switch since I couldn't get it. I was all angry about it. But now I have it, rant retracted.
Nice.
But I didn't get it, like, I had to get a used one, because, well, you can't find a new one. And it's awesome so far. All I have is Mario Kart 8, and a fighting game called Mark of the Wolves, which is like a classic arcade fighting game that I had for the Dreamcast, and they finally re-released it, even though it's as a download-only game for the Switch.
It's just wolves fighting?
No, it's just called Mark of the Wolves, Frank. It's a metaphor.
How are wolves involved?
I'm not sure. I want to say that there's no wolves involved, but I haven't really researched the topic, so.
So it's like that movie, The Pelican Brief. There's no pelicans.
Maybe. But all I have is Mario Kart 8, so I feel like that diminishes how awesome it feels because I have a game that I already had. So it doesn't feel like a completely new experience until I buy another game.
Game more suited for the Switch?
Yeah, like one built specifically for the Switch, I guess. Yeah. But they updated the console, so you could have inverted colors for some reason. Like, you know, everything black is white, green is pink, red is blue.
Yeah, that's just nauseating.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, because, okay, they just included this as part of the new update to the Switch, right? Like, they updated the software on it. And now you could either play, like, in black and white for, like, colorblind people, or you could invert the colors, because why not? So, like, it doesn't, I thought at first it just inverts the colors for the menu, right? But when you go into the games, it inverts the colors for, like, the game, too.
Everything.
Yeah. So now, like, everything is opposite colors, and it's really complex because, like, the first time I got, like, a green shell, but it was pink, and I was like, I guess I'm just gonna throw it and see what happens.
Just go with it.
Just, like, throw it, and if it goes straight, like, oh, that was a green shell. And then I thought, like, the mushrooms, like, I had no idea what they were, because, like, instead of red with black, it was, like, white with, like these, like, greenish spots. And I was like, what the fuck is this, a Yoshi egg? These aren't even items in the game. I don't know what's happening. Also, what's been really confusing is I've been able to upgrade, like, in the online mode now, instead of just doing, like, regular courses. Like, I guess regular on online mode is 150cc. And regular courses, but I guess once you move to a certain level, like a certain ranking in online, you could do the mirror mode courses or the 200cc courses, like almost at random, right? like say like 1 every out of 4 times, it'll add that to it. Like either flip the track and make it mirror. So, all your left turns are right. Right turns are left. Or they add 200cc and like you don't even notice until you're racing like, whoa, this is going really fast.
Oh, it just makes it faster.
Yeah, it's like a whole nother, but it like, you have to completely relearn the courses because like, you don't really notice on a straightaway, but then as soon as you turn, you're like, you crash into a wall. Like your turn is all wrong because you're going like 30 miles faster than you expected.
That's crazy.
But then like that happened at the same time I started messing with the inverted colors. I wasn't paying attention to the course, like what course was chosen. So like it's inverted, like where am I? What is this? And then like everyone takes off and I'm like, oh, I know where I am. And I try to turn left and then I crash into the wall because it's mirror mode. I was supposed to go right.
Nice.
Alright, but anyway, the Switch is great. Hopefully I have like some actual games to talk about. Like I could talk about Mario Kart 8, but it's been out for years. And then beyond that, Mario Kart's existed for years. It's still fun, but like, it's not a lot of depth to go into.
It's a racing game.
Yeah. Poor racing games. Well, racing games have to come up with all kinds of wacky ideas to stay relevant. Because who plays racing games anymore? People who like racing games still, like me.
Yeah, just you.
But the Crew 2 looks awesome. I showed you that one.
Yeah, that trailer was pretty intense.
I don't like that it worked on me. Because, like, it's your basic trailer, right? Like, really fancy, like, high-def, like, CGI trailer. It has, like, the rocking pop song. It looks like a very obvious trailer.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
But it looks fun. I hope it's like an actual fun racing game. Because like there's been racing games that look good, but then like somehow they don't get the fact that you're just driving a car. They don't get that part right. So it feels like the game's going too slow or the cars just don't operate what feels like correctly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about a little. Hopefully they have like, I wonder if they just have different teams working on each type of vehicle. Because like a boat is going to handle differently than the airplane or the car, right? You want to feel the heft of the airplane or the hits of the water as you're like going across it.
Or hitting the dunes and the dirt bikes.
Yeah. So I hope this game is awesome because it looks awesome. So like, I guess there was the Crew Part 1, but I didn't pay attention to it because it was on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But now they're coming out with the Crew 2, and this is fun because a lot of racing games are trying to figure out what it is that they can do to set themselves apart.
Right.
Like Need for Speed had constant online. Driver had that cool mechanic where you could possess different cars.
Oh, yeah.
And most of it is like city-wide stuff now. Like you're usually just in a giant city and you're taking up like different missions and stuff, usually. Like while you drive around the city. But now that's even become a standard. Like every racing game does that now too. Instead of just having specific courses you choose from. But now they're like, well, what can we do to change racing games? Just race more stuff. Like I want to see an update where people are racing like on skateboards. And well, because in the game they showed ATVs, like dirt bikes, race cars. They showed F1 cars. But they were basically like, I guess, like professional racing cars.
High performance.
Yeah. And like regular cars. And then they had planes. And they had the speedboats.
Those planes look pretty sick. Like it looks like it's going to be hard to like get used to. Because those planes go fast.
Yeah.
So, like you have to get used to.
But I hope it's like legit. Like you have to press up to go down and down to go up. Like a real plane. And hopefully like. Because
you do the rudders.
Yeah, hopefully like they make it that. Like it doesn't have to be super complex. Like it's not a fucking flight simulator, but like you want it to be. Some
people like flight simulators. Yeah.
But I do like the idea of like, you just want to feel like involved in it. Like as much as I love Mario Kart, I love racing games where you have to like hit the E-brake and then like hit the brakes and then hit the gas and then hit the turbo to like make one turn perfectly.
Yeah.
You have to think about every turn and press like 3 or 4 buttons.
Yeah, or like some of my favorite racing games are the ones that are like you actually have to shift the cars, and like it's better. It feels like you're more in control of.
Yeah, and it feels like more satisfying when you do it right.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully they do that with this game. Also, what's cool about it is they're like doing different cities from the US. Like you could race around New York, and you could race around like Los Angeles, and then like
the off-roading is all like.
But they said it's all connected too. You could drive from Los Angeles to New York in like 45 minutes of game time.
Okay.
Which is small, obviously, but pretty enormous for a video game.
That is a lot of mapping there.
So like obviously like the cities aren't like the fully featured cities, but hopefully like they have like, you know, they just have like all the famous landmarks and stuff and generally the right style. But either way, it sounds really cool.
Yeah. I
like any game where I get to drive around Los Angeles. One I remember was from the PlayStation 2, I think? LA Rush, which was like a Burnout style sequel to San Francisco Rush. And it used like the map system, like the open world thing, but it was supposed to be Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a very good game. But one good thing about it was that I crashed into the roller coaster at the Santa Monica Pier.
Nice. Not a lot of people can say they've done that.
I hope not. Especially because you'd have to maneuver through like a couple of stores and stuff. Like you'd have to be aiming for it.
It's no easy feat.
So the crew looks awesome, but the only problem is I would need an Xbox One or a PS4. Which I still don't want to shell out money for.
Yeah, those shits are expensive.
Well, they've gone down in price. Well, they've gone down in price a lot, but the problem is like usually I'll like pick a side for each console generation, like which is usually Nintendo.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 3 I bought after it had been out for like 4 years, right? I still don't own a 360. I did the same thing with the PlayStation 2. Like, I bought it once the PlayStation 3 came out.
Yeah.
And that's what I tend to do is, like, wait for kind of a deal, right? And I already bought the Nintendo Switch. So, because, like, you're not just thinking about just buying the console. You have to buy a controller, probably a second controller. With Xbox or PlayStation, you want to think about getting the online service.
Yeah, and you gotta pay for that shit.
Which is like, what, $20 a month? Well, I don't know. But still, it's just another subscription fee you gotta pay for. And then the games. You still have to buy games for it.
It's nice to have multiple games.
Yeah.
You want a variety.
But like, I think about like, man, I wish I could play more video games. But then I'd have to pay for them. I don't think I can do that.
Things cost money.
But then the other problem is like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 are never going away. The PlayStation 4 is now the PlayStation 4 Pro. And now I don't know if I should like get the PlayStation 4 Pro or just go back and get one of the old PlayStation 4s. Because I don't know what the difference is other than that they're different shapes. But, like, I don't want the old model. I want the new model.
Well, it's kind of like the same how, like, that second generation PS2 came out. It was way smaller.
Yeah, but this one isn't that much smaller. Still pretty big.
Not much of an improvement.
Oh, but I did notice that when they announced the Xbox One X at E3, was that one of the more powerful, that was, like, the first, like, bullet point about the new system. Second bullet point, smaller than the old Xbox One.
By like what, 13%?
They didn't give a percent, so I don't think it's much. They didn't be like over 30% smaller. They didn't give us an estimate, so it's probably less than 30%.
Significantly smaller.
Is as small as the Switch? Oh boy, no. There's the PlayStation 4 Pro now, which I kind of want, because I don't know if, like, game companies are going to be like, no, our games only work for the PS4 Pro, and if you try to play them on an old PS4, it's going to run like crap. So now, like, the game consoles are turning into computers. But more importantly, I don't know which one to buy or how long to wait before I purchase one now. Like, it used to be simple. Like, you had console cycles. Consoles would last, 4 to 7 years? And then everyone would announce their new consoles. But now they're announcing the same consoles. More. Here's the PlayStation 4 again. Oh, yeah? Well, here's the Xbox One again. And again. Because there's 3 versions of the Xbox One. I was looking it up when they announced the Xbox One X. So there's the Xbox One, then the Xbox One S, then there's the Xbox One X.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I don't even think they're different shapes.
Just lost that selling point.
It wasn't the bullet point, different shapes. They would have put that there, I'm sure. But this isn't to like mock the systems or anything, but it's just I'm so confused. Like, I do want the systems, but do I shell out for the pay $500 for an Xbox One X? Do I pay $250 for the Xbox One, or like $300 for the Xbox One S?
So many choices.
And then, like, what if they undercut me? Like, oh, okay, I'll get that One X, and a year later, here's the Xbox One X. It's like, oh, now I want that one.
Well, then you just gotta wait a few more years for the Xbox XX.
Xbox One X. No, 2 X's. Xbox.
Xbox.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing anymore. And then what if they do an Xbox 2X? Twice as big as the original.
The bigger, the better.
You're gonna need a new home.
In fact, the new Xbox is your home.
Like, completely unrelated, but I also read that PlayStation 4s attract roaches.
Ew.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's not what you want from something that's supposed to bring you joy.
I bet some of my consoles have roaches in them. Ugh. I don't want to find out. But I've had them for years. I can't say no. Nothing's crawled in there and died.
You never know.
Oh, Wonder Woman movie.
I saw it.
I saw it too. I went to the theater and saw this.
What? That's a miracle for you.
One thing I did want to say about it is I took my nieces to see it.
Oh yeah? How did they like it?
They thought it was a movie. Like, I kind of, because, like,
They enjoyed the popcorn?
Yeah, like, well, like, I read about movies and stuff a lot, right? Yeah. And, like, I read all of this stuff, like, oh, it's the feminist movie of the year, and, like, it's changing people's lives, and, like, all the hyperbole about it.
Yeah.
Even though, like, to me, it's just all movies. And I like that my nieces reaffirmed that fact for me.
It's
like,
just a movie.
Like, that was fun. Can we go see another movie? No.
They're ready for the next movie.
Yeah, like, after we saw the movie, they talked about it for, like, as we walked out of the theater, and then it didn't come up again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not life-changing. Like, I'm glad I took them to see the movie, but more as, like, something to do with your family, not, like, we have to be there for this, for this moment in pop history.
I mean, it does have significance, with the whole, like...
Well, I feel like the most important thing is just it's the first Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
That feels important. But, like, I don't feel like the feminism empowerment angle.
Isn't it the highest grossing movie ever directed by a woman, too?
That might be true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, I think that's empowering. Like, even, like, well, it's great that it's, like, a woman's story as directed by a woman, right? But, like, I hope women got rich making this movie, I guess I would want. Like,
yeah, I've been seeing a bunch of stuff about how the Wonder Woman, the chick who played her, Gal Gadot, I don't know how to say
Gal
her name.
Gadot?
Yeah, or Gal Gadot, some people like to say. They're saying that, like, she didn't get paid as much as, like, Ben Affleck did to play Batman or Henry Cavill did to play Superman, but, like, that was all bullshit, too. Like she got as much, and she got, like, the bonuses, too, for all that shit.
Oh, nice. Now we got that angle out of the way. Like, what about the actual movie? What did you think?
I like how they made Ares the villain.
I guess we'll get that to to that at the end, but like, yeah, I liked how Ares was in it because that makes sense. You know, plus I like Ares as a villain, especially for like a series of movies, because like even though he's destroyed for now, he could come back in some form in the future.
He's a fucking god, man.
Yeah, so like you can never like, it's like an eternal battle, which means endless sequels. I guess we can just talk about right now, the ending. Like, what did you think? Well, spoilers, I guess, for anyone that hasn't seen it, but we're going to talk about the ending now. Yeah.
It's been out long enough.
And no one listens to our show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't like the reveal of like who the actual bad guy was. Like, even in the theater, like, I liked the movie, like, overall, I really liked the movie, but I just felt like they didn't, I don't like it when they do these reveals, because they're in a lot of movies, right? Where it's like, I know you're the bad guy, and then, like, something happens, whatever, it's like, haha, I was the real bad guy along, even though I pretended to help you, and maybe even did help you, and made my situation worse as the actual villain. I can see the reasoning for like a villainous guy to want to stay close to the hero and pretend to be a good guy, because that's what villains do. They lie.
Makes sense.
You know, and then plus like the emotional feeling was like, you betrayed me.
Yeah.
You know, but this guy didn't feel that integral, and it feels like the villain, what is he, like the Chancellor? I don't know what he does with his bowler hat and his cane and whatever.
Dude, he was in Parliament.
Yeah, he was in the Parliament, so I assume he's like a high level guy.
Yeah.
And then after like, what's his name? Stephen Trevor and Wonder Woman go in and be like, we need to go in there. We got to blow up all their weapons and stuff. And then everyone's like, get out of here. A woman. You know how they reacted.
Cuties.
Either get her out or make her clean something.
Yeah, basically.
And then, but then like, you know, the guy who turns out to be the villain at the end, he's like, hey, let me help you guys. And then he does.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I could imagine like if he's the bad guy, like, let me help you guys. And like they get in a plane going like the wrong direction. Suckers! Like sends them to America or something.
Yeah. Then he's helping out his own situation there. Like,
yeah. And then it's like, haha, I'm evil. That happens a lot in movies now, so I'm kind of used to it. Like the reveal of the actual orchestrator of the entire thing.
It's a trope.
Yeah, but it made me mad because it felt like they were building up to, what's it? I don't remember her name. The doctor, the one with the porcelain face.
Dr. Poison.
Dr. Poison. Like, not only is she obviously a villain with the name Dr. Poison,
yeah,
you know, they had that whole scene where they're at like the ball. Stephen Trevor and Wonder Woman were at that ball in the German Empire or whatever.
Right.
And then Stephen Trevor starts trying to get information out of Dr. Poison by hitting on her. And then she's like, nah, I'm super into that evil general.
Yeah, she wasn't having it.
So then I felt like, wait a minute, is she controlling the general? Like, is she using the general like as her pawn to use her weapons? Like she wants to use her weapons, but she won't be able to if the war is over, right?
So basically you thought she was Ares?
Yeah, I thought she was Ares, and she was like basically goading this warmonger general into continuing the war.
That would have made sense.
So like not only could a woman be a good guy, she could be a villain. Everyone wins.
There's women all over the place.
And that would have been cool, but no, it was a British guy. Which is fine, but like the movie was like really on point up until like the final battle.
Yeah, now that you mention it, like movie being big on like feminism, like there's not that many females in the movie. There's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There's Dr. Poison. And
the secretary.
She's Trevor's secretary. It was like, okay, the secretary is like typical woman. Like she
was like comic relief.
Yeah. But like most importantly, she knows her place. And like, but then there's a Dr. Poison lady, and she's like, she's part of the military, and she's smart, but she's evil.
Yeah.
And then there's Wonder Woman. She's the hero. Like, there's not much of the spectrum of femalehood, I guess.
And then the
Oh wait, but then like at the beginning, there's all those female warriors.
Oh yeah, and they did spend a long time on the beginning. Like it was like the first 20 minutes
on Themyscira. Yeah, there's that epic battle on the beach.
Oh yeah, and the first time she had her powers, or like where that energy came out of her armbands.
She didn't know what it was.
My niece, when that happened, because it was like at the end of that fight scene where she's training, she accidentally uses her powers, and then my niece was like, "That was awesome!"
All loud.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, too loud for the theater. I liked how each scene felt like it had to be there. Like, it didn't feel like there was like some superfluous scene. Like, it felt like each scene at least led to learning more about the character.
What was the whole point of her trying on different clothes? Like, that seemed unnecessary.
Well, to show, like, how she's trying to fit into a new world. And it didn't last that long, at least. Like, yeah, from the trailer, I thought, like, that scene, because it showed her, like, kicking in the old-timey dress in the trailer. And yeah. I'm sorry, but I love the changing clothes trope.
What? So you're biased?
Yes, I'm biased towards that. Like, I've seen too many sitcoms where, like, someone takes someone for, like, a makeover and they're trying on a bunch of goofy-ass clothes. I'm sure it's been, like, just on The Simpsons, like, a dozen times.
Yeah, and that from that alone, I'm tired of it.
No, it's still funny to me. I still want to see what the dress does.
And here, what's wrong with America?
The lowest common denominator. Found the only thing I'm not snooty about.
Yeah, that clothes thing bugged me. And then her getting excited about the baby. I was like, really? They're going to make her, like, girly like that?
I thought, well, I originally thought it's because she had never seen a fucking baby before. Then it sounds kind of impressive because, like, well, because I know, like, the mythos of Wonder Woman already.
Wouldn't you think she'd be, like, freaked out? Like, look, a tiny human!
I am gonna kick its ass. Tell me where Ares is! Talk, mortal!
You're gonna talk about Wonder Woman's origin?
Oh, well, her origin, they mentioned it, they talked about it in the movie, too. But, like, for people that weren't paying attention for the talking,
she was sculpted
like she was
clay.
Yeah, and if that's a metaphor or not, I don't know. But, like, she was, like, the only child on the island that grew up, or, like, the only baby that grew up into an adult. Like, she'd never seen a baby before. So, like, when I saw the scene at first, I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that would be pretty cool to see a baby for the first time.
And they should have made her more, like, perplexed by it. Like, what is this tiny human?
She knows what a baby is. I don't think it was that complex.
What is that, a gremlin?
It's a demon. No, I just imagine, like, she kicks it out of their hand like a football.
Get it away!
I've saved you from the tiny gremlin.
It's my baby, you crazy bitch.
But then, like, after reading some stuff after seeing the movie, then I realized, like, it was supposed to portray, like, how she could still be powerful and feminine. Like, how she could still like girly things and still kick ass.
I guess.
But, like, I didn't read that much into it when the scene happened. I was just like, oh, she never saw a baby. Like, I guess because I'm autistic, I don't have emotions. Like, I felt like Anthony, how would it feel to see a baby for the first time? Ooh, neat. It's like going to the zoo. Like, now I've seen a tapir. Now I've seen a baby. A human baby.
Huh.
But I didn't think she was seeing it because she, like, loves babies. But
I felt it was a little out of character.
But I think the whole idea that you can't like cute things and kick people's asses, like, these cat videos, they don't get up there from just women watching them.
Everybody watches cat videos.
Yeah, everyone loves puppies. And, like, men have to act tough about it.
I'm always finding shit on Reddit, and I send it to Lena. short videos like why dogs are awesome.
Do we need a rating system? Like, what would you rate Wonder Woman? And out of how many of that?
I give it 8 out of 10.
And this is like compared to other like superhero movies?
Yeah, like the first Guardians of the Galaxy was a 10. It was a perfect movie.
All right, I can work with that barometer.
And then like Captain America Civil War, that was like a 9. Like it was awesome, but like not perfect.
Okay, if Guardians 1 was a 10 for me, and it is, that's a really good movie. If that's a 10, I would probably give Civil War a 7. Well, most scales go from 5 to 10. I'm not really including anything below it. I should use a 5-star scale.
Yeah, did you just do 1 to 5?
Yeah, so I guess, no, because it wouldn't be a 2. I guess it would be a 3 for Civil War.
Yeah, it was adequate.
And a 5 for Guardians. So this would be a 4. No, it would be a 5.
Wonder Woman's a 5?
Yeah. Because a lot of it was pretty much as good. Like, I didn't, like, usually I have, like, nitpicks. It's like, a scene could have just been a little better if one little thing happened, right? I don't like seeing wasted opportunities in movies, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, I go in, like, a lot of these things, these properties are things I really like. You know, like Batman, Marvel's cool. Like, I didn't grow up with it the same way I grew up with DC stuff, but, like, I don't hate it or nothing. Like, I like seeing this stuff. Like, I like learning about these characters. But sometimes the movies just don't, like, seem to properly pay homage to these characters. That's, like, a bigger issue.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people didn't like Man of Steel. I liked it. It was like, they showed a lot of stuff happening on Krypton. I thought that was pretty unique for a Batman, for a Superman story.
Yeah, that is. And I don't automatically dislike the idea of like a tired, angry Superman, right? Who like doesn't like people. Or like a darker Superman. Like, that's fine. Like, we got our animated Mexican Superman. That was badass.
I almost forgot about that.
We still need more of that. They should have, like, his origin story for Mexican Superman.
Crash landed in Mexico.
No, he was Mexican-American. He crash landed near, like, the border. Some family crossing into America picked him up and took him with them into America.
From San Diego.
He's Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio is Superman.
And also, like, whoever he is, his actual real name.
You don't know Rey Mysterio's real name?
I'm sure I can look it up. Should we talk about Lucha?
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, now that it's back from hiatus, we're like 3 or 4 episodes in. 4 episodes in to the second block of the season.
4, yeah.
And they're having the Cueto Cup. And it's awesome so far. I like it because as like the roster grows on Lucha Underground, it seems like it's so much harder to like a lot of like the awesomeness of the first 2 seasons that there were like not that many characters. So everyone could get a storyline, right? But now, like, they're introducing even more people this season. And then, like, everyone has something going on now because of all the old storylines, right? Like, all of the old beefs from the first 2 seasons. I was like, but what about the screen time for this guy? What about the screen time for that guy? And that's when they had the Cueto Cup. And it's like, look, everyone's gonna fight at least once. So now we gotta see people that I've never seen fight in singles, like Saltador and Pindar. We gotta see people that aren't really involved in the storyline right now. Like people like Mascarita Sagrada and Vinny Massaro.
That guy was horrible. He looked like a slob. It was just...
And that's what I was saying on it. Is like, how could he come out looking like that? He knew he was in a tournament. Like, Dario didn't like...
You know he's not going to do anything athletic in the ring. He's like...
But at the same time, like, his old costume from the very first season was just like the wrestling trunks.
What was he wearing this time? Slacks?
It looked like he was wearing, he was wearing slacks and like a wife beater that he spilled some marinara sauce on.
And he had a hole in it?
Yeah. Like he hadn't had a job in months. But that would be a great storyline. Like, he hasn't been able to find work. He's like, maybe he didn't do anything related to fighting. He's like, well, I'm a pretty big guy. Let's try underground fighting.
So
he's like someone that saw Fight Club and then wanted to do it.
I was going to say, so if he wins the match, then he comes back next week, you see him with like a brand new wife beater, some clean slacks, and like maybe be clean shaven or something.
And he gets a haircut.
Yeah.
But then he still spills some marinara sauce on him or whatever that was.
Gross.
But yeah, like, the tournament's been fun because, like, we're being reintroduced to a lot of people. And then we just saw Saltador, the checkers, the checkers guy.
He's like a gimp who's into ska.
Yeah. He should come out with the fedora too. Oh, could you imagine a whole ska band of them? Because he came out like in the jacket, which like makes me think like he's just like dresses up like in a business suit under, because that would be a pretty creepy look, right?
Yeah.
Like a businessman with like the suit and like the hat and then just that creepy checkered face.
That's a villain right there.
Yeah. Because like the other luchas, like they'll come out in a suit and like their mask.
Yeah. And it's got like it's a character theme, whereas Saltador is just a pattern. Like,
yeah. I felt like I can't fight him because I get motion sickness. And then we've seen 2 of the Rabbit Tribe fight, and they've been like some of my favorite fighters. Like, I didn't even know I liked this weird, like, I guess like comedic wrestling. But like, I feel like it's not that, but they have like certain instances where they make it funnier.
Who else is in the Rabbit Tribe?
Was the guy with the mohawk? Mala Suerte.
Mala Suerte.
He has like a black mask and a mohawk, like a fake mohawk on his mask. Well, anyway, I also have a new theory about the Rabbit Tribe. I was telling you, remember? That their power comes from their groins? Which makes a lot of sense because Paul London, he like has like a cup or something that he wears outside of his...
Like strap too.
Yeah, he like has like a jock strap or something like outside of his pants.
And Saltador was doing a bunch of thrusting.
Yeah, but like he also like he's completely checkered except for his shorts, which are just striped.
Yeah, that's a confusing pattern to go.
And yeah, he looks like he's on E or something, because right before he got pinned, he was like raving.
Yeah,
like he forgot where he was for a minute. He was just feeling so into it. But then also, yeah, like you were saying, like after he fell on his back. And he just starts humping the air.
Yeah.
But it makes sense if their power comes from the groin because it's the Rabbit Tribe.
What about the third guy? Is he?
Oh, yeah. He has a shirt and it says on his shirt, it has like the Rabbit Tribe logo on the front. On the back, it says, "Do it like a rabbit."
That's pretty.
It's innuendo. Clearly.
Very suggestive.
But yeah, so I've liked seeing them in singles action because they both had like great moves that were so ridiculous. In Mala Suerte's match, when he goes up on the ropes, you know how they have him in the same corner to do whatever move they're gonna do, but he decides to go like all the way to this far corner. Like he's gonna really jump that far, like jump 3/4 of the ring.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Didn't he just like jump down and then do a tumble?
Yeah, he just jumped down and like rolls along the floor and then like kicked him or something.
That was pretty dumb.
But then, like, the crowd still started yelling, "Holy shit!"
They're impressed by anything.
And then this one, I called it the sleeper kick for Saltador, where like
I don't remember you pointing it out.
It was the one where he was in the corner and like he was fighting Mario the Moth, right? And then you know how they'll slap their hip like before they kick,
yeah,
like, and then. Like, he slaps it, and then, like, but he doesn't kick. And then he, like, looks down at his leg, and then he, like, looks up all panicked. Like, his leg fell asleep. And he's, like, snapping his leg over and over again.
Oh, and then Marty started laughing at him.
Yeah, and then, like, while Marty's laughing, he just kicks the shit out of him. Like, there's no, like, better way to put it. That was, like, one of the best kicks I've ever seen. Like, they got, like, the perfect angle and, like, the perfect, like, bottom part of his jaw. So it looked like a Mortal Kombat kick that knocks their head backwards.
Brutal.
It was epic. And it was hilarious, too. It was so awesome. Oh, and we have to mention his entrance.
Oh, where he rolled through the ring?
I was like... Because, like, you don't realize what he's doing until, like, he's already, like, left the ring again. Because, like, he just rolls into the ring like any wrestler, right? Like, nothing showboaty about it at all.
But then he keeps going.
He just kept going. It was, like, so simple and so stupid. Like, has a wrestler ever thought of that before? I'm sure there has, but, like, it was so...
Nobody's had the balls to do it.
And then, like, he looked at the crowd after, like, he had just, like, done, like, backflips through the ring or something. And they're like, what? What just happened? But, like, just from, like, those random things he did, he, like, immediately became one of my favorite new wrestlers this season.
Yeah. He had some good moves, too.
Yeah. And it was, like, weird versus weird match.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the tournament, too, is you're pairing up people that have never had storylines before.
To potentially start new storylines.
Yeah. So, like, Phoenix is going to start beefing with Marty the Moth.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just because Marty the Moth is obsessed with Melissa Santos. But I think Marty the Moth is in over his head. Like, there's, like, this supernatural section of Lucha Underground who have, like, magic powers and stuff. Like, Marty might be crazy and rich, but he doesn't... Like, Phoenix can't die.
Right.
Phoenix came back from the dead.
Rise from the dead, man.
Phoenix has killed people in the ring. He put a person in a grave. Or, I mean, in a casket.
That's pretty intimidating.
It should be interesting to see. I was hoping for Marty having to fight his sister in the tournament. That would have been cool, too.
Sibling rivalry.
And then we still have, 2 more brackets left for the tournament?
So this is going to be like the whole season, right? Like,
it feels like it. Well, I figure, okay, so 4 episodes for the first 4, right? And then since the matches are even bigger, like, or more important in the next one, they'll probably go back to 3 matches an episode, right? For the next round. But man, there's so much other stuff they gotta get to too. Like, they don't have the medallions anymore? The Aztec medallions to get the Gift of the Gods belt? They haven't done much with that yet. They haven't done a lot with the trios titles yet. Like, right after this tournament, let's have a tournament for the trios titles.
Jesus.
New tournament! Yay! Well, he's already had a tournament for the trios titles, though. That was the first season. And that was awesome. Like, just tournaments are awesome.
You
it feels
so
like
many matches.
It feels so natural, though. Like, if you need to create storylines for wrestlers, right? A tournament's, like, the best way to do it. Because, like, everyone gets to wrestle. Like, everyone could start, like, a new feud right there. Like, being knocked out of a tournament would probably make you not like that guy, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you could do all kinds of things. You could have, like, friends fighting, or you could have, like, enemies trying to settle a score within the tournament. Like, there's so much potential for storylines. I like wrestling. That's okay, right? And, like, now that we have Lucha, I like wrestling, and there is also wrestling that I like.
Yeah.
Plus, Cage punched a guy's head off.
It wasn't a cutscene, Anthony. It wasn't in the ring.
He punched a dude's head off. It was pretty great. Yeah, it's like Mortal Kombat now. You know, fatality. Like, I was really expecting that afterwards. Yeah, like you were saying, we have to rewatch Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really... That's like one of my favorite portrayals of Batman. Useless Batman.
Tag along Batman.
All right, John Constantine. If you need any like witty retorts, just look back, and I'm right here.
That's all I'm good for, apparently.
And some bombs.
Yeah.
Because you never know if what paranormal thing might just be able to be blown up. It's such a great movie because like Batman's just like listening, learning.
He was missing a lot of it though because he couldn't see like the ghosts or whatever.
Yeah, I felt like Batman was like watching like Constantine fight. He's like, is this guy full of shit? Is this guy really fighting anybody? Is he just fucking playing it up? Trying to look cool? Like, I think that's why he brought Zatanna along. Because, like, if Zatanna looks like, I trust her. If she looks like she's fighting invisible enemies, I buy it.
Yeah.
But then, like, because at the end of Justice League Dark, Batman asks both Zatanna and Constantine to join the Justice League. Which, like, implies that Batman's like, yeah, this shit's way over my head.
It just showed, like, what those two can do, like, by themselves. I don't think they portrayed John Constantine as well in the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that I didn't even know that was, like, a superhero movie or had anything to do with DC.
I think I heard about it, but, like...
Constantine. It was kind of cool, but it was, like... I guess it was made at that time where, like, we're making a superhero movie. We're not making a superhero movie. Then why are you making a fucking Batman movie? Thanks for listening to the Bystanders podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/GameMusicForAll. You can find links and show notes from today's episode at thebystanderspodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at thebystanderspodcast and on Twitter at TBSPodcast. And you can support the show by subscribing to us at patreon.com/Genoboots.